Hey there, welcome to School of Emo, the podcast where we dive into the world of emo, pop punk, and everything in between. If you've ever found yourself in your car screaming the lyrics to Taking Back Sunday, wearing way too much eyeliner in the early 2000s, adding a buckle or a chain to every outfit you've put on, you are in the right place. I'm Erin Judge, and each week I will be your fellow student, guiding you through the music, the culture, and the history that shaped an entire generation of angsty teens. I am not the teacher of this school. I am a fellow student, here to learn alongside you and from you. Together, we will cover a lot of information that doesn't really matter, but will remind us of the days of stalking MySpace channels and getting lost in chat rooms. So connect your dial-up, turn on your webcam, and let's go to School of Emo. Welcome back to School of Emo. Today, I'm exhausted. If you're watching this, you're seeing this, and you're looking at my t-shirt. You know why. Last night was the Silverstein 25-year anniversary tour, stop in Nashville. Thursday was one of the main openers, and we are going to do a little recap of the show. This was one of my favorites, and such a good show. I'm so glad that we went. Also came at almost the worst time in terms of our schedule. So I am completely exhausted, but excited to recap it with you. So I need to review some of my little notes here. So the show started, they actually had 3 openers. So we had Bloom, we had Free Throw, Thursday, and then Silverstein. This show started at 7:00. We did leave early, a little spoiler, because we had not slept for like a week, being in New York for a week and getting flight delays, all the things. And we'll be flying again Thursday. So we had to come home and go to bed, because we are adults and that is just how it works. But I am so glad we did not get there late. Like that was my original thought, was like, oh, maybe we get there later and like do more at the house if we need to, like catch up on things, just go to see Thursday. Like that was my main thought, was all I was there for was Thursday. And I wanted to see a bit of Silverstein. Like I wanted their full set if we could, at least half, because they're going to be on the Emo's Not Dead cruise next month we're going to. So I'll get plenty of sets from them there. But I wanted to get an experience with them in order to gauge how many of their sets I want to go to on the cruise, how I want to prioritize them, because I'm familiar with them, but I've never been a huge Silverstein fan. So they're not a band that's like high on my priority list compared to some of the others like The Used or Under Oath, like some of these bands I listen to more frequently. So let's talk about these openers and how much of a surprised they were. Like, again, this is one of the best shows I've been to, in the way that like every band was so good. And the venue in Nashville is Marathon Music Works. Not my favorite venue. It's nice if you're short, just because the stage is pretty tall, and it's basically this giant kind of warehousey room with a big long stage. So the benefit is that you can stand at the back, you can be towards the front. The VIP section, like the little bonnet, is actually the worst. It's like up on some risers, but way over to the side. There's not a lot of big screens, but the room, the way it's spread out, is that really anywhere you are, you can see the stage pretty well, and you can engage with like the band pretty well. And so that's a huge benefit. The downside is that because it is sort of that warehouse, the sound itself is sometimes not the best. They have the speakers. It is very loud. My ears are ringing. I forgot my earplugs. I am not a great 30-year-old, 33-year-old going to shows because I'm not protecting my hearing enough. And eventually I'm not going to be able to hear. And so I regretted that. But the sound does kind of like, it usually is not great. It was really good for this show. So they did a good job. Maybe they've fixed it with the venue. We haven't been there in a long time. It's one of the good venues in that the ticket prices tend to be a little lower. I think we paid like around $50 per ticket, 10 years ago. Yeah, that would have been $25 per ticket, but here's where we are in 2025. I would say that was a fair price, especially for 4 bands. And one as iconic as Thursday being included in that. But they have a lot of parking on site. And so there are some paid parking lots, but there are also free parking, like on the street. We got a free parking spot directly in front of the venue, which is amazing. And we got there 30 minutes after doors opened. So not even that early. Another benefit to this venue is that they have decent bathrooms, easy to access from the main area. So you can go to the bathroom, come back. It's not a big deal. They have like a full bar and like seating and kind of a loungy space that is usually open before like doors open. But you can do that, hang out, and again, still hear the music well, engage with that. They also have, sometimes they'll have like little pop-up restaurants. They have Daddy's Dogs, which is a hot dog spot from Nashville. They have a spot there so you can get a hot dog as one of the main meals. But they also will sometimes, depending on the event that's there, have other things there, which is nice. They also are connected to this like kind of cocktail lounge, and sometimes that's open. If you've listened to this podcast enough and you heard my terrible story or just very embarrassing story of meeting William Ryan Key of Yellow Card, I met him in that cocktail lounge after he performed in that venue, which is fun. So you may have seen that before. But that's the venue. So the venue is like very hit or miss. Like there's some really great benefits to it. There are some that we don't necessarily love. Your feet will kill you because again, the floor is just concrete. So just some things to be mindful of, but was a good surprise for this concert. And like, it kind of reminded me of like, oh, there are some positives to this venue. I need to go back. So if you get the option to go, it is a decent one. Now the show, the starting band was Bloom, started right on time, and they got about 30 minutes of a set, I believe. They are a band out of Australia. I had never heard of them. So good, to the point where my husband fell in love with them. Like loved their style. Very Under Oath like a mix of some melody with like a lot of screaming. So more screamo heavy, heavier sound, but not like metal, if that makes sense. So still kind of in that emo screamo space. And then had some slower songs. So kind of mixed it up a little bit, but the stage energy, like the lead singer was so into it. Like the band performed well, musically sounded great. His voice was incredible. He was able to range between the melody and like the singing with the screaming very, very well, like very talented. They seemed young, like maybe like early 20s. But just really great. Like we're able to engage with the crowd. Like they got, mosh pits started, dance pits started, circle pits, like people were already in it very much right out of the gate. A lot of people were excited to see them. So they may have a decent maybe reach or following for a younger crowd. There were a lot of like teenagers there, which surprised me. I was like, where did all these teenagers come from? But then seeing that band, I'm like, oh, maybe they're here for this. Like this makes sense. But very much a scene vibe, and very quickly turned into a very scene culture, which was really cool. Like, I feel like I've been to some like, emo pop punk kind of scene shows a lot over the last 2 years. And I haven't always been on a floor, right? Because I've been in bigger venues and things like that. And here we were pretty like mid floor, like pretty close to the stage, but we were right behind like the pit at the start for the first band. And eventually moved because I didn't want to keep getting pushed into. I'm not into that at 33, but it was cool. Like it was cool to see like younger people engaging in that, and like just the culture being alive. And like even the outfits, all of it. It was very inclusive and interesting to see. And I think them coming out so strong at the beginning helped with that. Their merch was also incredible. Like my husband like liked their set, and he's like, I'm interested in their merch. Got a shirt, got a little like drum head with like some art on it. So we're big art fans, and they had some really cool stuff that was well designed. So very good, very big surprise right out of the gate. I was like, this band is great. I would see them again, would be excited about them opening for another band. Like hopefully they see a lot of success. So check out Bloom, Bloom. If you haven't already. I might be late to the game, but if you are, you should have told me. The second opener was Free Throw, and they are apparently based out of Nashville. Again, I've heard their name. I've seen their name. I don't know why, maybe because of an opening of something. I'm not sure, but I've, had that floating around, but I didn't know, like I've never listened to the band. Also so good, a little less scream heavy. They've got some screaming thrown in. I would probably categorize them more on like the pop punk side of emo, kind of that blend that we saw through the end of the third wave, where like true pop punk like Green Day, Blink-182 mixed with like true emo. And we started getting these kind of in between bands like State Champs and things like that. So not very true emo, but like kind of in there and like a little heavy, but not super heavy. But they came out so strong, great energy in the crowd because we are Nashville. It seemed like they brought a lot of their local crowd, and it was insane to see again an opener, probably bigger of a crowd response than Silverstein's couple of songs when they started, which is again insane to see at a show like this. The crowd was like singing, like the band would, start a song or kind of set up a song, and the crowd would start singing their entire song to them before that they would start, like while they were getting set up. Like very into it, very excited. We crowd surfers, like mosh pit, circle pit, like all of that was happening. Again, this is so wild to me to see with these openers. Like people came out so strong. And it was incredible. Like they were good. A band I would listen to again. Like I need to listen to them more. Started following them. Like would be really excited to see them in a local show, which is exciting to think about. Like, can we possibly get into a $15 to $20 show here in Nashville? Which feels so rare with the bands that we like, but they had such a good energy. And I was, again, pleasantly surprised. Would love to see them on a cruise in the future or in opening for another band or anything. Again, one of their local shows. So very, very good. So all that to say, if you are also going to the Silverstein 25-year anniversary, you're like me and you were going for Thursday Silverstein and you weren't so sure about the openers, if Bloom and or Free Throw are still opening at your show, your city, it is worth it to go. Also, if you've been on the fence of like, do I buy a ticket or not? Because we were kind of like that. Like Thursday's just been a bucket list band for me to see live, and I didn't want to miss the opportunity. So we bit the bullet to do it, even though we've spent so much money on concerts this year. It's a crazy hectic month to do anything extra during the weeknights. We decided to do it. Some of the best $100 we've spent, like so worth it to see all these great bands. Like even after just the two openers, I was like, we've gotten our money's worth, like out of these two sets, and they were each two like 30-minute sets. So that worked out really well. After that, we got Thursday, and it was everything that I hoped it would be. I have been looking forward to seeing them live since I did my Origins of Emo episode and dug into some of the original bands like earlier this year, and their inspiration being Thursday, kind of learning more about that second wave of emo, Thursday, Sunny Day Real Estate, like some of those bands, and learning about them and like hearing some of their music. I'd never been exposed to them before and became such a big fan. And just even the respect of Jeff Rickley and just not knowing his impact on the emo space and scene and all the music I love, seeing a lot of their social impact work that they've done and how they've spoken out against like a lot of injustice and have continued to do that in true like post-punk fashion that early wave of emo really leaned into and was birthed out of kind of the core of what emo was around that time. I just really respect them and have loved their music. Understanding in a Car Crash is one of my favorite songs ever now. I love it. Listen to it all the time. Like it's so good. And so I was so excited to see them. And I don't know how long their set was. I was just fully immersed in it, present, enjoyed it. Probably 45 minutes. Jeff Rickley is such an interesting performer. Like in some ways reminded me a little bit of Andrew McMahon, I think somewhat because of the appearance, like he's kind of this lanky, kind of quirky looking dude. They're out of New Jersey. And they did bring on, so he made a joke early because Silverstein's based out of Canada. Bloom is Australia. And he was saying how they were hesitant to be on the tour because Silverstein has such like Canadian power and they have none. And then they're like, but we got some by bringing on, they brought in the, I think bassist, can't remember, guitarist, not good at even picturing what the instrument was, maybe lead, like electric guitar, from Alexis on Fire. So they had someone else join. He was great. I don't know his name, couldn't catch all of that, but he was incredible. And apparently they're from Canada. So that was a little joke, but Thursday is from New Jersey. They are one of the OG emo bands. Go back to our recap episode on them if you are not familiar with them yourself. They've kind of had a bit of a comeback with joining tours. Like they've done Silverstein tour a little bit. They opened for My Chemical Romance on the Black Parade tour in New Jersey. I was so sad that they were not our opener in Philly, but because I just wanted to see them. And Jeff Rickley was one of the people that truly like pushed My Chemical Romance forward. I don't know if we can say he truly discovered them or they'd be nothing without him. Like it probably would still be famous, but he was a big part of that and has been instrumental in a lot of the bands that we love. Those of us who are true millennials and grew up in probably the best stage of emo. And so he has such like a superpower within the emo world, and seeing him on stage, he's just so kind of weird. He's a weird, goofy looking guy, and his hand motions, his dance moves, like his mannerisms are so unique on stage and so interesting to watch. And someone had mentioned this after the New Jersey My Chem show about how surprised they were at the stage presence and how good Thursday was live, because they haven't been putting out new music. They have a few albums. That's it. A lot of their songs are really old. Like they're not still doing that. And so the thought would be like, they're older, they're just kind of has-beens, like they sort of perform. Like you would expect them not to be so good. They are so good live, and they're older dudes, very obvious, but they have a lot of energy and like did a lot of crowd work, and people are really into it. And the sound was very different than Bloom and Free Throw. Like Bloom started us off heavy, lots of energy. Free Throw was kind of like that fun energy, but still some heaviness in there. Thursday is not a heavy band. Like there's a little screaming in there, but it's not heavy. It's definitely like lighter, which is where emo really fit in early, before kind of the screamo like metal influences really leaned in. And so it was a little bit different, but they were still able to maintain the energy of the crowd. And again, I was really into it. They're less into it as a crowd than like Free Throw, I think, because of the crowd, the audience themselves. But it was really cool. So very happy. They I don't know all the songs that they started with. Their discography is still newer for me. But Understanding a Car Crash was second from last. War All the Time was last. They did do a full throwback of like a love song. I think it was called like Love Letter, from one of their earlier albums. And they talked through some of those songs, and then did a kind of a social justice type of talk whenever they announced, what is the song? I know the song, but the title of the song always leaves me. But one of their songs that is very much about like equal rights, social justice. Oh, Signals Over the Air. So they did that one. Standing on the Edge of Summer, they did that. Cross Out the Eyes. I think they did that one maybe first or very early in the set for the Workforce Drowning. They did play that one. But Understanding a Car Crash being their top song was second from last, with War All the Time being last, and kind of a talk around that as well. Their merch obviously was really great. I got some, very excited about that. And yeah, their set was amazing. I could have left after it happy, but I was also excited to see Silverstein, and just the energy of the crowd, and the whole night was so good. Like didn't drink any alcohol, none of that, like didn't need it, was exhausted. I'm still exhausted, and such a good show. So after Thursday, we got Silverstein, and they are celebrating 25 years, which a lot of bands are right now. We're all getting older. And they came out with some of their newer music. And I know fans are so divided. We did the Silverstein episode. Go to that if you want to recap them, their history, all of that. But they did sort of a celebration of their career backwards, which I think is smart for a lot of these bands, because even though they have evolved and they've maintained a decent fandom and like fan group, and they've gained new fans over time with like how their music has changed, but their core fan audience, they're, what they're still always going to be known for is the earlier music. A lot of these bands are like that. So they came out heavy with like their newest music. And then after they played like maybe 4 of their newer songs over the last 2 albums that were all released this year, they said that they were kind of going back chronologically. So playing at least one song from every album that they have had, but going backwards. And so you can find the set list on Reddit if you want to. But that's a way to expect how the set list runs. My favorite song is My Heroine, of course, big top song. I assumed it would be last. According to the set list, it's not. Did we stay for it? No. We were way too tired and had to get up early today, and we had to make the adult decision to leave about maybe 75% through the set list. Like we saw almost a full hour of their set. So I don't know how long it fully ran. I'm assuming based on the set list, 75 to 90 minutes. But they came out strong energy, lots of crowd involvement. Like they had screens. So the other bands just had like two screens behind them. They had like lights going on. There weren't like big screens in this venue, but Silverstein brought out like a higher rise drum set. And then they had like two screens on each side that were kind of off a little bit so that they could have these visual effects. And they started the entire set with a video all about their 25 years and looking back and the celebration of fans and their career. And it was very sweet and cool. I'm sure you could find it on YouTube if you would like, because people were recording that. But it was a really well done video of like clips from their past and where they started and how they grew and how fans were part of that and now what they're celebrating, which was really sweet. So they had that. They came out, played a new song, but they had like the screens would show like different graphics. And as they got to certain albums, the screens would highlight that album artwork and then their name. And so it was really cool to see just a little bit more production value, which you would expect from a headliner, but in a small venue, sometimes that gets missed. And so they did incorporate that. Their voices were great, which is, again, as a band ages, not something we always get. They seemed very present. They were like on top of it, like well done from a production and performance standpoint. I very quickly, like I was expecting to maybe see a few of their songs because I was so exhausted before their set and satisfied with everything prior. I was like, I'm probably only going to make it through a few songs, like see their energy and then head out and then see them on the cruise. But I got so lost in it in the best way and just like dancing and, singing along and enjoying like watching the crowd get involved and, seeing people like, again, dance and the circle pit going and all the things that were happening. It was just a lot of fun. And I easily got to the hour. I could have stayed the entire time, but my husband had to get up earlier than me. So relationships and respect have to, take care of each other. And so we left, but so good. So good. I was really surprised. And that was another one that I've seen people talk about with some of the festivals of how good their sets have been. And with the Emo's Not Dead cruise, when they announced the lineup and they added Silverstein on, a lot of people were excited for that reason. And so it was good to get to experience that because I don't think I would have prioritized them as highly on my cruise like lineup because a lot of the sets will overlap like a normal festival and they're throughout the ship. And then if you want a good spot, you get to the set early. I wouldn't have expected to like really want to go to like all three of their sets. I was only going to maybe prioritize one, but now I'm hooked enough that as long as I can, with the other ones that are a little higher priority, like the used, I would definitely go and enjoy it and listen to some of their music leading up to that and get excited about it. So it was really fun to have that energy kind of spearheaded for the next month because in a month we'll be cruising with them. And it was really great. Really great. Their merch was also great. We didn't get any of theirs, and early the merch line for their table was very long. We skipped ahead to go to Thursday. But again, bands aren't always putting out like really high quality, interesting, like creative artwork with their merch these days. And so to see theirs, they had that, which was really cool and had lots of options. So if that's your thing, then you would enjoy that. And again, the ticket price being around like $50. So it was so good. Hopefully that's the same in other cities, like for the quality of the show that we got, and to still have that small venue to be able to experience it more. Like those shows are so much more fun when you're in like a bit of a more intimate venue and you're with the crowd. You can see the band, you're not stressed about that. You're not so far away. You're just watching it on a screen. Like you see the different pieces being put together. It's a lot of fun. So that's all I have to share. Like there's nothing really dramatic or interesting beyond that. Just such a solid 10 out of 10 show. I sort of regret leaving. I wish I could have seen the rest of the set, but I also wish it would have started an hour earlier for those of us. It was a Tuesday night. Okay. Like we were exhausted. Um, but if you can stay, if you can prep a little bit better than I did, and have more flexibility, please go enjoy it. It's worth even traveling for. I would. I think it was, again, 10 out of 10, great experience. So that is it for today's episode. Short and sweet. Your homework is to go watch some YouTube videos of some of these sets. Maybe go check out Bloom and Free Throw if they are newer to you as well. And then if this tour is coming to your city, buy a ticket and go. Even if you go by yourself, grab a friend, enjoy it, and come back and report back of how it went for you and how much you enjoyed it. And then next month, after the cruise, I will share more about Silverstein and the sets and my heroine because I didn't get to see it live. So I'll have that to look forward to and share with you. Next week, next class, we are going to keep going with our cruise bands and recapping them and going into a deep dive of them, prepping for the cruise. So be on the lookout for that. And I will see you in that class.